All right. Well, welcome everyone. Again, I am Christopher Wiseman, 2022-2023 president. Welcome to our attendees in the room and on Zoom. Our Zoom best practices, please mute your microphone, especially mine, because I just heard myself echo. Change to speaker view so you have the best view of the speaker, which right now is myself. Limit chat during the presentation, and then please turn off your camera if you are eating on Zoom. If you have questions, raise your hand. I will do my best to answer them to the best of my abilities. Our agenda today, welcome guests and visiting Rotarians. We have a few friends in their room and on Zoom. Thank our many wonderful volunteers who make the meeting happen. Our friend Jim Patrick is going to give an update on polio. Maureen O'Shea will give an update on our fashion show. And she has a new outfit to model, so you'll definitely see something great. So thank you, Maureen. And then Robert Azevedo will give an update on our 50-50 campaign. And then Wendy Shu, we have some great photos, and she visited a few clubs. So we'll give an update on last week, which was Visit Another Club Week. Then we'll share some past and upcoming opportunities, what's on the horizon. We'll have some time for talk and maybe a 20 for 20. And then our featured speaker, District Governor Gary Chow. So let's welcome guests and visiting Rotarians. So let's start with our District Governor, Gary Chow. And then we also have Steve Wright. He's also from the district. He is our district governor nominee elect. Did I get it correctly? All right, I think I did. And then also David Dye is in his official capacity today as our assistant governor. So I guess you could say he is my manager. So thank you. Bob, are there any visiting Rotarians or guests on Zoom?
No, all 15 on Zoom today are members of the club.
All right, thank you, Bob. Any other visiting Rotarians or visitors in there? Yes, thank you. Can she have the microphone, please? You can say a couple words. Is there a microphone? There's our mic runner. Thank you.
Live in San Francisco and I heard about the club and I'm interested to see.
Great. Great. Thank you for joining us. Any other visitors? All right. So I want to thank our club service volunteers who make the meeting happen, especially Bob Herman, who is our Zoom host today. So please direct any questions to Bob if you have any on Zoom. Thank you, Bob. Also, I'd like to thank Gary Dales for doing registration. The scribe, it's being recorded today. So thank you for setting that up, Mary. Bill Poppin, thank you for taking photos today. Hopefully I look good in a few of them. Our Mike Handler, that is officially JT, but thank you for stepping in for JT. I don't know where JT is. JT, I see.
I do have a mic, but I'm trying to get her to earn her red badge.
I see. All right, well, thank you, JT, for training. Greeters, thank you, Robin. And when I came here, the room was all set up. So to those who helped set up the room and the banners, thank you so much. It's always appreciated. And thank you, Kurt from Academy of Art, for Jesse, for handling our AV today. I had a sip of wine. What can I say? All right, we're going to start our meeting today with an update on polio from Jim Patrick. So could JT, thank you.
Thank you very much. We got this working all right. I want to get the book out here. It's important to know polio. What do we have to say about polio? First of all, It starts in the brain, but the brain connects to the nerves. And the nerves are what gets damaged. And in polio, if the nerves don't work, maybe the nerves causing the lung don't work. And therefore, you can't breathe. Big, big problem. Polio is virus. We know more about viruses than we ever wanted to know, but it is a virus and it is spread, and it can be easily spread. In about 85 or 84, when we first started this polio campaign, there were 500,000 polio cases. 500,000. In 2019, I want you to get to this progression. 2019, there was 176. Have we been effective? We certainly have been. In 2020, there were 140. 176 to 140. 2021, there were 6 cases. That's a wow. Now, let me tell you, there's 2 kinds of polio virus you need to know about. One is the wild virus, and one is a derived virus, which you can is part of the polio vaccine. The wild virus, there's now 6 cases in 2021. 2022 to date, it's a bad news report. There are 20 cases. We've gone from 500,000 to 20. That's pretty fantastic, and we still have more work to do. And the derived polio cases, which is part of the vaccine, and you get a little bit of polio, but you don't get much, and it takes care of it, but it can still spread. So you can classify these 2 polio cases by the virus types. In 2020, there were 1,113 cases. In 2021, 698 cases. In 2022, there have been so far 246 cases. Both viruses are really on the decline. That's very good news. A piece of bad news. There was a polio case in New York, as you may have read. What kind of polio case was that? It was part of the derived polio virus. And what happened is someone who was knocking down the virus gave it to someone who wasn't inoculated from the virus. Big problem. You have to sustain the vaccination system or the inoculation system. Message: get your kids and your grandkids vaccinated for polio. Don't miss this opportunity. Number 2, let's keep getting all kids vaccinated. And you know what? It's a big book. I'd like to close this book on polio. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Jim is our TRF chair and also a past president of the club. So Jim, thank you for sharing that important update. Next, little bit lighter, but Maureen O'Shea will be doing an update on our upcoming first annual Rotary Fashion Show, Putting on the Glitz. So thank you, Maureen, for this update.
Well, I can't take the credit for coming up with the idea of the fashion show. That credit belongs to our president. But it's going to be a wonderful event, putting on the glitz. And it's not going to be a fundraiser, it's going to be a friend-raiser. And although we'll be showing wonderful fashions from Simi's boutique in West Portal and button down for men on Sacramento Street, We are also going to be highlighting all the wonderful events that this Rotary Club does, such as the Super Bowl party, the Christmas lunch, the gala, the Valentine's dinner, and we're also going to be highlighting many of the services such as community service, the food bank, climate change. And so it's going to be more of a fun event than just a fashion show. So you won't be bored. And I do have to say that my jacket, my outfit is by Simi. So our fashions will dazzle as well as promote everything that this Rotary Club does. So everybody better be there.
Thank you, Maureen. I will be there. I think I'm one of the co-hosts for that event, so I'll be there and I'll be talking about some of our upcoming events and activities. Next is Robin Azevedo, who's going to share our 50-50 campaign. This is the third 50-50 campaign that we've done. Right here. Yeah.
Robin Azevedo with McCroskey Mattress Company, retired. And serving as point person for this year's 50-50 campaign with some really great kickoff news. Our club is in the third year of this 50-50 campaign effort. Kickoff news number.
Christopher, can we put the mic closer to Robin? It's hard to hear on Zoom.
Close, if I hold it close to the mouth, or am I not saying that?
Hold on, Bob. We're getting a backup microphone.
Thank you.
Check, check, check.
Sounds good. Thank you. So anyway, our club is in its third year of the 50-50 campaign effort. And we've got some great kickoff news. Kickoff news number one is I'm pleased to announce that this year's goal is $123,000. These monies fund two foundations. They fund Club 2's San Francisco Rotary Foundation and TRF, the Rotary International Foundation. And they support Club 2 projects as well as TRF projects. So for the past 2 years, the 50-50 campaign has really greatly helped to defray club costs directed to Club number 2 projects. Kickoff news number two is that the 50-50 campaign already has commitments of $50,000. So we're well on our way to the 123. And stay tuned.
Thank you,
Let's see.
Robin.
My hand is back. Thank you. That's yours.
Thank you.
That's great.
Thank you, Robin.
Thank you.
All right, everyone. Okay. Yep. Sorry, I guess I'm getting so used to the mic, I hardly noticed it was on. 123,000, where did we come up with that number? So I came up with it. So 100,000 has been our goal in the past, for the past 2 years. We have exceeded that goal, and I thought it would be fun to do 23,000 in honor, since it's 2023. So 123,000. So for future presidents such as Sunny Singh, your goal could be what, Sunny? 124,000. So I thought it would be fun, and I am very confident that we will exceed that goal again.
I'm glad you explained that, because I was wondering why.
So for those attending the meeting, you now know, and if anyone else asks you, you say it's in honor of this Rotary
For a
year.
second, I thought it was a typo.
All right, so our next speaker will be on Zoom. Bob Herman, could you highlight Wendy Shu, please?
I will indeed.
So last week, for those who participated, I hope everyone did, was Visit Another Club Week. So you could go as simple as visiting a social media post of another Rotary Club. You could email a president. you could participate in a service project or attend another meeting. But one of our club members, Wendy Shu, she went to Los Angeles and she visited 2 clubs and did some flag exchanges. So Wendy, I'm going to highlight you now.
Thank you, Christopher. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. So I went to go visit, I've been in LA the last week, so I went to visit Rotary Club of Koreatown, and then I got a flag from them on the 23rd. I also met the past district governor, DJ's son, and he wanted me to say hi to Eric Schmautz. And another Rotary Club that I went to go visit was the LA number 5, which I actually really enjoyed. It was at the California Club. I met Melinda, and she told me a lot about how LA 5 actually incorporates a lot of business networking, which aligns with vocational services very much in their club. And she talked about how they do a 5-way test. And one of those items is to support Rotary Club members in doing business with one another. So I'm really hoping to be able to learn more from LA5 about how they highlight more on business networking to support vocational services for San Francisco number 2, and then to incorporate what I learned there into this club here. Thank you.
Thank you, Wendy. And if anyone else has stories from Visit Another Club Week, please feel free to email me, and I'd be happy to share them at the club, or you can share yourself about your experiences. I had a very positive Visit Another Club Week. I visited a couple clubs and I talked to 2 presidents, but I do want to share something interesting. As many of you know, I was on vacation in Europe, and I wanted to visit the Copenhagen and the Stockholm clubs, both pretty big clubs. They all take summer holiday, so none of their clubs meet in July or August, so I was unable to meet up with them. And all of the clubs in Copenhagen, they have one get-together during the month, and they do a lunch. So you can kind of see how clubs do things a little bit differently around the world. And it's not that we're actually going to change how we do things, but it would be good to understand what some other clubs do locally and around the world. So if you visit another club, whether it's last week or over the next year, please let me know. I would love to hear your thoughts. And thank you, Wendy, for sharing. Service project tonight, August 30th. Thank you for those who signed up, and thank you for leading. Emily, is it full for tonight, or do we have a few more spots?
We got room.
We've got room. So if anyone would like to volunteer with the homeless prenatal program tonight, 6 to 7:30 at Hugasian Flowers. This is one of our service projects that we do every year. I hope many of you participate, and I look forward to hearing how it goes.
We have 10 people signed up. We can use some more.
All right.
That'd be fine.
10 people are signed up, but everyone just heard Jim Patrick in the room. I'll share on Zoom. They could use a few more, so definitely consider it. And I hear they go out for drinks after, so you get service and fellowship in one. Next week is September 6th, Labor Day, so we will not be having a meeting. Please enjoy time with friends, family. If you have travel plans or you want to share what you did for Labor Day at the next meeting, just let me know. A next service project is part 2 of the homeless prenatal program. It's Wednesday, September 7th, so that's next week. So if you're not able to make it tonight, you can still sign up for September the 7th. And that will be one of the baby showers. And the Spanish speakers is at 10 a.m. and the English speakers is at 1 p.m. And there is definitely still spots in that project. On the horizon, so these are a few things. I've also promised a club member an opportunity to share about one of our signature events as well. But let's start with these. September 8th, we're having a new member event. Margaret Miley will be leading that. So if you're a new member or you feel like a new member, please attend. And thank you to Lynn Lukow for hosting at your art gallery. It's a beautiful space on Post Street. so you can see some art. One of the pieces that didn't sell at our auctions in the past, Lynn did sell for us, which was fun. It was a piece I donated that I thought would definitely not sell, because my friend told me it was cursed. It sold, so clearly that art gallery has very good energy. And if you're a new member, please go. You'll have a great time getting to know the club. September 12th, we'll be delivering meals for the ARC. September 13th, our next club meeting. So as Wendy mentioned, we have a good relationship with LA5. LA5, Melinda's going to be our keynote speaker. So we'll get to hear about Melinda. She's going to come to the club. And then I'm going to go down to their club and do the same for them. So it's going to be a good partnership for the two clubs. And this started from our First Five initiative. For those who don't know what First Five is, it's the first 5 Rotary clubs in the world. So Mary told me this. Some people think number 2 means number 2 in San Francisco. It's number 2 in the world. So mainly for our guests, but I'll share with you. Number 1, Chicago. 2, San Francisco. 3, Oakland. 4, Seattle. And 5, Los Angeles. And I believe 6 is New York. Oh, Eric, I get a thumbs up from Eric. I'm learning a little bit. I'm hoping by the end of the year to know the first 10. 7? I'm not there yet, Eric. Also, September 13th, after the meeting, we'll be having a Rotary 101. I'll be leading this, but there'll be a different speaker every month. And for this week, it will be me talking about the club calendar and what we're doing. And this is open for all of the members. September 17th is our day of service with the district. And then September 19th, another delivery meals for the ARC. And then on the horizon, we'll be bringing back our signature Blue Angels event. Mary, would you like to say a few words on it? Sure. The Blue Angels is a wonderful event, and I hope all of you can be there.
Hi, everybody. How many of you attended the Blue Angels viewing party last year? Can I see a show of hands? And how fun was that? A lot of fun. So we're going to be repeating the viewing party. This is going to be on Saturday, October 8th. Tickets are going to be $75, same as last year. Currently, we are looking for sponsors who want to sponsor the event. The sponsorship is $500, which will give you a display table and 2 tickets to the event. So if you'd like to be a sponsor, come see me. I'm also looking for individuals who would like to donate a gift card for the raffle during the Blue Angels event. For those of you that have not attended, if you ever wanted to see close up the Blue Angels flying right in front of you, this is the event you want to be at because you will have front row seats. Any questions? Come see me. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. And there'll be lots of delicious food, that's right, flowing wine, beautiful decor, and of course, fellowship with your club members. So thank you, Mary, and thank you, Maureen, for leading the Blue Angels initiative. And be sure to invite your friends too. It's not just for club members. Invite your friends, your family. All right, I'm going to skip the, you know what, we'll do 120 for 20 today. Does anyone want to do like 120 for 20? All right, thank you. Get a 20 for 20.
I just wanted everybody to know that on September 10th and 11th, if you're concerned about water in California, Rotary is doing a summit, and it's available online. And anybody wants to know about it, we're expecting hundreds of people. It's going to be very interesting, called Source to Sea.
Oh, sorry, you're going to have to repeat that. Online can't hear you.
Source to Sea, if you're concerned about water. The opportunity on September 10th is to join in on Zoom or in person at Newport Beach and learn more about what it is that we can all do to make a difference in California.
Thank you, past President John Mathers. That will be a great activity. All right, I promised you one, and now we're going to do some social time. So I came up with a couple topics to guide you. I thought this would be light. What did you do last week? So did you do your homework and go to another Rotary Club? or if you don't want to disclose what you did last week, your favorite color and why. And I will start with that one. My favorite color is blue because I think I look good in blue. All right, everyone have fun. And Bob, thank you for leading the Zoom discussions. And we'll be back in 10 minutes for those who are taking a break to eat. Thank you.
So everyone can go off mute now.
Well, I have a friend from college who's really into cars.
Hello again, everybody.
Hello.
What'd you do last week?
Well, it was a week before.
I don't know what I did last week.
I was just looking at the calendar to see what we did last week.
I don't have a clue.
I'll tell you one thing we did last week that was just sensational. It was none other than the very lovely Ann Doherty, who treated us to dinner at the St. Francis Yacht Club's Sunday night Italian Fest. Wow, wow, wow.
I don't know.
Memorable. Watching the pelicans come by, having homemade pasta. It was just fabulous.
Well, we'll have to do it again.
Oh, I'm there.
Like I say, next Sunday would be good.
Actually, Dan can go next Sunday. I'm going to be on a cruise.
We're going to be on a cruise.
Probably the most fun dinner I've ever had.
Where are you going on cruise?
Oh, it was at a place called the French.
We're going to start out by visiting my cousins in Oslo, Norway, and then we'll have a short flight over to Stockholm after a couple of nights in Oslo, and then we'll get on the ship there in Stockholm, do a tour of the Balkan capitals.
And I'm thinking,
Hello, Brian Land.
Yeah, sorry, I had a really quick announcement.
Okay,
And what
so there's either a marriage or a child or there's something happening.
So Brian, you're on mute and you need to speak a little louder.
I hope he comes back married. That's what I'm hoping. Yeah, I mean, let's get to the point here.
I'm hearing feedback from them. So hold on. Can you all hear me? Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I muted the Rotary Club, and so we could hear each other. Brian, go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Wonderful. Yeah, I was just saying, I was doing baby stuff last week because I mentioned this to a couple of members, but my wife and I are expecting, and it'll be in early October.
Yay!
Yay!
Oh my God, that is so exciting. Wow. Look at that beaming dad right there to be. Oh my God, that's so cool.
So, yeah, no, well, obviously once everything goes okay and knock on wood and everything, I'll certainly share photos and stuff.
Is it going to be a Halloween baby or an early October?
Early October.
Okay.
Oh, boy, that's exciting.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
You guys are very far along then.
Yeah, very far along. Yeah, no, we've been, I built the crib. I've got a changing station. We bought everything. Yeah, we're getting there. So.
Wow.
Wow.
And you should sleep also now.
We're up on the Z's before. It'll be interesting, but I'm excited.
Well, you have a number of parents on this scan here, so you can ask Kaushal and Jyoti. You can ask Mary or Nat, or John. John, you have children too, don't you? John Hoke?
I would say that
no children.
being
Just
a mother is the best job and the hardest job in the world.
Yeah, no, that's so true. So true.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, congratulations, Brian. That is fantastic.
Yeah.
So,
Congratulations, yes.
So Peter, what did you do last week, or what is your favorite color? I'm going to bounce around and put you on the spot.
Well, I went swimming at the Palm Springs Swim Center every morning until I had to fly back to the Bay Area. And then we had our Rotoplas bocce tournament, which was very successul on Sunday. So that's a week's worth of work.
Excellent. You could swim in the bay,
You could, but it's kind of cold. Do you go there, Dan?
No.
Bob?
No. Kaushal, what did you do last week, you and Jyoti?
Normal, nothing new. We just going around the city, farmers market, cook everything like normal, nothing great. But I can suggest what you should be doing next week. You
What?
should go to Theater Cafe in National Theater in Oslo. And last time when I was there, I had lutefisk and lefse.
Well, we have had both of those things,
We can do without
being the
lutefisk. Oh no, but lefse is wonderful.
Indeed. Rosemary, I know you just came back from a whirlwind tour. Let's hear about that a little bit.
Yes, actually, I went to all through Scandinavia. I went on a Viking cruise. I was supposed to be gone for 3 weeks, ended up 4 because I couldn't get back. There was a strike on. But anyway, we went to Stockholm for about 4 days, got on the ship there. It was a Viking cruise. And then we actually covered Sweden, Denmark, Germany, Poland, and Norway. We ended up in and our last stop was Bergen, Norway. And the fjords are absolutely beautiful. I've seen the fjords in Iceland and also New Zealand, but the fjords there are just so plentiful. It's just everywhere you look, it's just another beautiful scenery. The people are great. What really struck me was the fact that everybody is so healthy there. There was 80 and 85-year-olds on scooters, bikes. Everyone had a backpack. They're extremely healthy. And in most of their apartment areas, there's no need for elevators because everybody moves around, and they have a very nice lifestyle. They really take care of their people.
Excellent.
One of the tour guides told us the biggest stress they have in Scandinavia is where to go on vacation.
Send them to San Francisco. We need that.
I know, really. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, they pay a lot of taxes, but they're well taken care of. Their health, their pensions, their homes. I mean, it's a pretty good lifestyle, but of course it's a lot smaller than here, so it's more manageable. But it was really was a great vacation.
Great. Well, nice to have you back and happy to have you home safely.
Yeah.
Lisa, what have you been doing, or what's your favorite color?
My favorite color is pink. And last week, although I did not go on a cruise, we drove over a body of water and went to Sausalito, and we ate at a seafood restaurant right on the water. I think it's called Fish. I'm not sure. It was very good. I highly recommend it.
Excellent. Excellent. Great. And Wendy, what are you up to? Tell us a little bit about your education. I don't think a lot of people know what you've been doing there.
Sure. So this last week, I have been in Los Angeles because the organization that I lead, Building Education, which builds schools in Nepal, had their very first event in Los Angeles this last Saturday. And it was a great success for our very first event, and the funding will go towards our 4th school. So that was fun. And then I went to go visit 2 other Rotary clubs, as you all heard. And I actually really love visiting other Rotary clubs in different areas. I've been to Nepal, I've been to Koreatown, and I've been to LA5. And each one of them, I feel like each Rotary club does things really based on like kind of how the group is culturally shaped. As an example, like obviously Nepal, they're going to serve Nepalese food and they conduct it very Nepalese style. But Koreatown in Los Angeles kind of did the same way. It was all Korean food. It was in a Korean hotel. So I thought that was really interesting because visiting different Rotary clubs in different areas allowed me to explore cultures. Yeah, and that was very, very fun for me.
Excellent. Do they do any meatless kind of things like Impossible Burger or anything like that? Like we try that out at our club once in a while.
Ooh, that sounds like fun. No, I didn't. Not in Nepal. They did something that was like more veg, and we ate a lot of Nepalese food, which is like rice and lentils. But haven't done anything meatless like that just yet. But that would be fun, especially in LA.
Perfect. John, what have you done, or what's your favorite color?
Well, I mean, last week was going to doctor's appointments. We're getting ready to go to Arizona my wife and I, we've done a lot of international travel. And so we decided to focus on traveling to different states in the United States. So we're going to Sedona, Arizona, which I heard was a very nice place.
Yes.
My favorite color is blue.
Beautiful. You're like Christopher.
Yes.
You're like Christopher. Jyoti, what did you do last week?
I don't remember what I did, so I'm thinking nothing spectacular, just a routine, regular week. Yeah, and I have so many favorite colors, so I'm thinking, what should I pick? But I do like pastel colors, so.
Beautiful. Beautiful, like the spring colors of flowers.
Spring colors, yeah, flower colors. I do like that.
Excellent. All right, all eyes are focused on Nat.
So last week, I guess it was a usual week for work for me, you know, so I tutored some kids, I managed my company. Probably the most exciting part about that for me was that I had a class where I taught a poem by Yeats that I've never taught to a group of students before. And I thought it went pretty well. So I was happy about that. I also checked out the Stanford Summer Stroll since I'm a Stanford alum. And that was a fun event. They had a bunch of, booths with wine from, apparently, I didn't realize this at the time, but apparently it was from
Enjoy talking about
graduates of
what
Stanford.
did you do last week,
cool.
or your favorite color?
Favorite color is blue as well.
Excellent, excellent. I think we're coming back, and thank you. You got your blue, and thank you for your sharing. Thank you all.
Yes.
And here we go. I think we're going to see a video shortly.
And you're totally outside, just wandering around. I love that.
Seems like San Francisco, it's got more trees. I didn't get the sense of, it's tropical, right? So I'm hoping.
If you think you're seeing a man on the screen that looks frozen, you are. Now, here we go. Seems to be getting stuck on 17. And you see Jesse there, he's working on the problem, so we're in good hands.
I got to say, it's great to hear that they've already got a $50,000 commitment to the 50/50 campaign. Wow.
That's wow. That's great.
We got a good, strong club, which is really great. We do good stuff. What is that little symbol?
I don't mind heights, but the helicopters there, they hover in air, so you can, the guy talks to you.
What is what, Bob?
There's a little symbol on, looks like a little I and a little A.
And you're
Where?
On Rotary Club of San Francisco, where Christopher and Jesse are.
I don't think you'd like it.
Maybe you don't see that. I see it because
I see it.
I see it too. Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
It's really, you get to go where some movies are, yes, and you see parts that you couldn't see by, right, and you couldn't see it by ground. Are you going to the north part of that island? Or?
We're staying in
La Hui? Okay.
I think Larry Booth should be a radio announcer. He's got a good, deep, rich voice.
What's in it? Is it Princeville is in the north?
Here we go.
Do you like golf?
No.
Okay. Well, I do. Yes, I do. But Princeville has some wonderful, but it's less popular. There's such a difference between the south part and the north part.
It's almost like one's rainy and one's not, right?
One is rainy, one's not. One is very hilly and green.
Okay, I think we'll put ourselves on mute again, and I think they're going to start.
But and they're not that far apart, so you can rent a car and you can spend a day in a car and see it all.
Well, Gary Dale's is an avid golfer. John Mount is an avid golfer. They're trying to get, we used to do golf.
Yes.
We used to do golf socials.
Yes.
So they're planning again.
Oh,
I don't know if
nice.
anybody has contacted you about it yet.
No, Emma.
I'll let you know.
Okay.
I'll let you know.
Thank you.
All right, everyone, we are going to resume the meeting. Thank you, Jesse. We had a minor technical challenge, but we are going to start playing a video, and then we'll be introducing our keynote speaker, District Governor Gary Chow. Thank you, everyone. That is just a warm-up for our district governor. I am just setting up our screen, so feel free to enjoy a few more minutes of table talk.
And I bet we're all wondering, what does that mean, that bang your drum?
What does that mean? Yes.
It's self-explanatory, don't you think?
Are we supposed to lead discussions now on the meaning
Not
of
yet, not
thank-
yet. All right.
Well, I was talking about last week when we had our discussion, and I spent my time at Kaiser. And over the past several years, I've been there so long, so many times, they consider me a regular. But I had CAT scan, COVID booster, and other tests, so I'm good to go.
All right. That is good, John.
All right, it is my pleasure to welcome our Assistant District Governor, David Dye, who will be introducing our District Governor. Thank you. You're doing great.
Got a microphone for me? Oh. Thank you very much. Isn't this a wonderful microphone handler today? A few weeks ago, I was at a memorial service for past Rotary International President Cliff Docterman. And it struck me in the presentations and the reminiscence about him that he had, well, it reminded me of this video you just watched. And this is by a Scottish group called Dead Man Fall, and it's called Banging on Your Drum, if you didn't notice. But it struck me that when Docterman was had finished his presidency, he had a choice, and a choice to make with what to do with that past Rotary International presidency of his. And this song is about that, really. It's about change. It's about making a choice. It's about deciding what to do with the rest of your life. And it occurred to me that this is kind of what he did. He made a choice. From that time since 1992 when he was president, to do things for Rotary and to make a change in how Rotary is through the following years, and he did that. So choice, change, making decisions about the rest of your life is something that I think that was really central to that. And you may be wondering what that has to do with Gary Chow. Well, Gary has been a lot of things in Rotary. He's made a choice, and his theme for this year is Be the Change. And so I wanted to kind of link these two thoughts. I'm not saying that you're going to be a Rotary International president very soon, Gary, but he certainly has a lot of the qualifications, I would say, from his employment experience where he served as a cancer health educator and served on boards, both local and nationally, relating to cancer and public health, as well as his many roles in Rotary. So would you please welcome District Governor Gary Chow, and let us hear what he has to say.
Thank you. Okay, so how do we get this to change? Okay, here's so it's linked already. Okay, good, perfect. Okay,
So go from here. Thank you, David, and thank you, President Christopher, for a great board meeting this morning. So good afternoon, San Francisco. My name is Chow, Gary Chow, and I am an agent of change. You are all agents of change. Our founder, Paul Harris, once said, Rotary changes us and those we serve. I believe that we can change the world one life at a time. Our current RI president, Jennifer Jones, who happens to be the first female president of our organization in the past 117 years. In fact, there's breaking news. Right after Gordon McAnally, who was the next president of Rotary, we have another female president in Stephanie Urchik. So Rotary's getting smart finally. But going back to Jennifer, she's chosen her theme this year to be Imagine Rotary. And your design that you have on her pin was designed by an Aboriginal artist because her RI convention in 2023 is in Melbourne, Australia. But what she did was she explained to the artist what she wanted, and he came up with this design. The large circle in the middle is Rotary and its collaborative efforts to support our 7 areas of focus, which are represented by the 7 dots around it. The green line below is indicative of a Aboriginal digging stick, which is an important tool to the tribes, but also it symbolizes a call to action. So basically what she's wanted us to do is to imagine what we can do to make Rotary better and then be the call to action to make it happen. She's asked us to imagine, which this thing says imagine. Oops, come on, behave. Imagine how we can increase our impact in the world to make our efforts be more effective in our communities. She's asked us to expand our reach, to reach new audiences that are out there that need our help. To do that, she's asked us to enhance participant engagement, get more of our members involved, and bring in more collaborative efforts with other organizations so that we can fulfill our goals. And finally, she's asked us to increase our ability to adapt to this ever-changing world. Lord knows we've had to do that in the past couple of years, but it's important for us to be more open, be more flexible and understanding of these changes. Now, based upon that, I came up with our theme, as David just talked about. It's Be the Change, which is, of course, the paraphrase quote from Mahatma Gandhi, be the change you wish to see in the world. If you look at our pin, it's a triangle. Triangle is the Greek letter delta, the scientific symbol for change. You'll see that the apex of the triangle, the tip of it's facing upward, which is a sign of positive change. The color blue is also symbolic for not only being a Rotary color, but it's also a sign of patience, understanding, and positivity. It has 3 sides to a triangle, which represent our 3 counties of our district, as well as the 3 essential elements of Rotary, which makes us so successful: memberships, foundation, and branding. And finally, you see a white triangle in the middle. If you look at the pin, you'll see it's a little blingy. And that's important because it's symbolic of what change is. Change is dynamic, and based on what you do, it might come in different ways. But as long as we keep on moving toward change, it can be positive. So it's a perfect segue from Jennifer's thought to imagine what you can do, and then for you to be the action to make it happen. Now, I am a health educator by training. Could you all raise your hand up for a minute, please? Great, okay, put it down, thank you. My task was to take what the doctor or nurse asked you to do as a patient and then to follow what they ask. And most of the things like losing weight or quit smoking or lower your stress, they are reasonable requests and attainable. But sometimes it's easier said than done. Can I have you all stand up for a moment, please? Okay, thank you. You can sit down. you know, a prime example back in the 80s when I was working for Kaiser Permanente is we were trying to convince people to wear their seatbelts because we knew that over 95% of all automobile deaths could be avoided if you wore your seatbelt. The compliance rate was awful. It's around 40 to 45% at the time. And even though, you know, we knew what we could do to prevent these accidents, we couldn't get people to wear their seatbelts. In fact, it took a law that you had to wear them to get people to comply. And even now, we don't have 100% compliance. Now, most of us as Rotarians don't have laws to convince people to do what we'd like them to do. So how can we improve the likelihood that a person follows, whether we want them to help us support a program or we'd like them to join Rotary? Can I have you stand up and do a handstand for me? Okay. Okay, can I have you all stand up and flip your chairs upside down? What if I told you that underneath some of those chairs there's something worth $30? Would you flip your chair over then? Because there is. Okay? If you want to flip your chair over and you see something that has something to do with Rotary, you're going to earn something worth $30.
I've got yours, Gary.
Anyone find anything? We got one over here. David? David, would you award, please? Who else got one? Okay, hold it up there and so let my Vanna White go around and give out the prizes. Okay. That's two. Did anyone find it? There's one there if you want to look for it.
No, think of her. She's the new one. She's the winner.
David, you hit it really well. Okay, there's one more over here. Great. He did get it. Congratulations, Jim. Okay. So what we just did, if you haven't thought of it before, it's an exercise in compliance. When I asked you to raise your hand or stand up, it was fairly easy. You did it because I'm the speaker and you're wondering what I'm smoking, and trying to figure that out. But as I asked you to do something more bizarre, you didn't do it. But when I offered incentive, all of a sudden, people started to flip the chairs. If I said there was something $500 underneath the chairs, you probably would have flipped over the tables and everything else in the room. But this whole process that you're involved with was actually described by a psychologist named Kurt Lewin with his, okay, you can't see it, but it says the force field theory of change. And basically, what's happened here is that when you're put in the position to make any decision, there are certain forces that are impinging upon you to either make the change, and of course, those that are preventing you from doing so. Now, when I'm dealing with people to help them quit smoking or lose weight, it might take weeks, if not months, to help them make those decisions. Or it could happen in a split second. Imagine that you're going down the road and you come to an intersection. The light turns yellow. Do you go through the light? Do you step on the brakes? Or do you kind of think it depends? What does it depend on, whether you'll decide to go through the light or whether you're going to jam on the brakes? Anybody have a thought? Yeah, is there a guy behind you that's tailgating you if you cram on the brakes? What else? Is there a police officer? Now that is a big negative restraining force to have you do that. Huh. Okay, is there a camera? Correct. Okay, is there a pedestrian waiting to run across the street? How fast are you? How close are you to the intersection? Many different things that you're thinking about in literally a split second to make that decision. Okay. Now, for most decisions, you're going to have a little bit more time than that. And that's what Lewin suggested that we do, is to make a decision, you identify the forces, both the positives and the negatives that you're faced with. And there's two things you can do to alter the behavior. Either you add a force, positively pushing toward it, or you remove some of the barriers to change. And that's what we'd like you to think about whenever you're trying to make a decision or help someone else make a decision. Identify these issues that are going on for that individual and find ways of increasing the reason why they should be joining you, or the reason why they should be sponsoring your program, or taking away the reasons. Why isn't the person wanting to join Rotary? What can we do to remove the things that are keeping them from doing so? And just like James Bond had his Q branch to give him the gadgets he needed to accomplish his missions, well, Rotary has a toolbox for you too to accomplish yours. The first of those tools is right at your place setting. You have a handout with our district leadership team contact information in it. Okay, these are the people in our district that have the knowledge and the dedication to help you with any of the projects, any of the parts of Rotary that you have. And we've given you their contact information because we want you to contact them. You don't have to go through any hierarchy to do so. You can go directly to them and ask them the questions because they're here for you to help you out, to give you those tools. And not only do we have what you have in your handout, but we also have excellent websites in our district, our zone, and our Rotary.org information for you. Do all of you know what a zone is, by the way? We say that once in a while, but anyone? Okay, the zone basically is the support that the district, just like the clubs utilize our district for a support mechanism, the districts use the zone. We're part of Zone 27, and we partner with Zone 26, which encompasses basically the Western United States, west of Colorado, up to British Columbia, and out to Hawaii. But they also have a whole treasure trove of information on their websites and their teams together. They do an excellent Rotary Institute in November of every year. It's kind of like a mini RI convention that you can go to learn more about Rotary, where we're heading as an organization. In fact, we always have great keynote speakers there. I know this year it's in Salt Lake City, and we're gonna have Gordon McAnally, who is the next incoming RI president, come to speak to us. So, but they have all these different programs that are available for you to help you accomplish your missions. One of the latest ones that just came out in the last 2 months is a new program called Expert Hub, which is not unlike our district leadership team, where they have experts and have learned things on a larger level that be of assistance to you directly to help you with your programs. So you can look up the Zone 26, 27 website, click on Expert Hub, look at the topic area, and there'll be people there that can help you. So they want to be, again, flatten the management of your hierarchy so that you can contact them directly. And, they want you to do that because, again, the information is only as good as the people that know about it. Okay. So one of the areas, and what you're not seeing there, is our 3 essential elements, which we talked about before. And this is the group of activities and areas that help make us effective. The first area, of course, is membership. Membership is the lifeblood of our organization. Without you, we don't exist. We're not effective. But one of the things that RI President Jennifer has asked us to do is to kind of concentrate on the comfort and care of our members, because they're part of our community too. And the people that aren't coming to our club meetings, the ones that aren't engaged in activities, what's going on with them? Can we help them? That's where your Sunshine Committee, your Fellowship Committee is so important to be able to outreach to them because they might need our help. And so it's important for us to be there for them. It's also important for us to look at the comfort and care of our new members. You know, Rotary has been flat as an organization as far as membership over the past almost 10 years. And it's not because we haven't recruited new members. We've recruited, I think, about 500,000 members over the past 10 years, but we've lost 500,000 members. Why? Well, of course, life, death, it happens. But there's a lot of people that have left us because we haven't been really meeting their expectations. I mean, all of our times are very precious. Our times are precious, so we want to use it wisely. So are we relevant to that person? And to figure it out, we need to ask them when they first come in, what do you want out of us? Can we help you? And sometimes what help they need might not be something our club is doing, but Rotary probably will be. That's the beauty of us. We have so many different activities available. It doesn't have to come from your club. It can come from another club. They can be part of your club, but participate in one of the other activities. It's okay. We're all part of one big family. So it's important for us to assess what they need and then steer them to the right direction. And then that'll, again, give us another positive force for them to stick around with us. Okay. Okay. The next one, come on, behave. Let's see. Come on. Here it goes. I got a attitude problem. It's not okay. Well, the next. Good. Okay. Branding. Thank you. Yeah, I know. Branding. You know, again, how many times have you heard that Rotary is one of the best kept secrets around, right? That we do little projects and we're modest at best, and we just do our project and move on to the next one. And sometimes half the time the people that we're servicing don't even know who did it, in a way. So, and then when they do know about it, that's about all they know. I told the board today about how I look at Rotary like that 10 blind men touching the elephant. You know, Rotary, what do they do? Oh yeah, they fight polio. Okay, yeah, what else do they do? I don't know. Oh, Rotary, they're the ones that gave my son a dictionary. Okay, great. What else do they do? You know, they all see different parts of us, but they don't see the whole elephant. And when they do, that's impressive. And that's what's important, because when we go out to clubs or sponsors, other companies that we want to help us, they need to know what we can do and how effective we can be. Okay, it's like, why did Bill Gates give us all the hundreds of millions of dollars to fight polio? He could have given it to other organizations to do it higher profile than we are, but he gave it to us because he knew we would get the job done. We would do it efficiently. We would do it with transparency. And that's why he's done that. Okay, but most people aren't like Bill Gates and have that search knowledge. So it's important for us to market ourselves so they understand who we are, what we can do for it. Because we have it all there, and we should be very proud of what we do and get the word out. Are we using our social media sites well so people can understand it? When you go out to a project, are you wearing your Rotary bling? That's good. They need to see that we're the ones out there cleaning up, planting trees, or helping out at a food bank. That's important for us to do that. So please continue to do that. Okay, then the other area, foundation. You know, I don't know of another organization that does the fantastic stuff like Jim was talking about with polio, or what we've done with Ukraine, or what we've done with COVID, where we've been able to immediately pivot our resources to help out in such a fast manner. Okay, and yet give you back money in 3 years in the form of district designated funds for you to do projects right here in your community. And we have all the tools there in the foundation to help you, A, advertise it, B, to take advantage of it. We talked about today Paul Harris recognition points. It's a whole new tool that we need, that clubs are now learning to use better to help you get to where you want to be. Now, down during the end of the part of this year, we got some exciting projects coming up. The first one in October, we're going to have a polio walk in their shoes expo. coming up in October for Polio Awareness Month. You know, when we talk about polio, we think about Afghanistan, Pakistan, Africa, India. And now that Jim mentioned, it's now in New York. And actually, polio is all around us, but we just don't worry about it because most of us have been inoculated. But that's a big issue now, and we have to be the advocates to help kids and parents get those inoculations in so we can maintain our herd immunity. Because right now, in order for us to keep this level of protection, we have to have 91 to 95% of our kids vaccinated. And right now, because of COVID, because of anti-vaxxers, that level is dwindling down to roughly 80%, and that's dangerous. Because polio is only a plane ride away. Like Jim said, it's very contagious, much more contagious than COVID. And we need to be out there to be the advocates. What we're going to learn about at this meeting is the importance of the vaccinations. We're going to learn about how can we help people with post-polio syndrome. Are all of you aware of post-polio syndrome? Okay, like Jim was talking about, when a person gets polio, the nerves are affected. Basically, the polio destroys the nerves. And again, it affects the nerves that hit your leg muscles, you lose the ability to walk. If it hits your diaphragm, you lose the ability to breathe, hence the iron lungs. If you survive the polio, what happens is that your body has a miraculous ability to branch for the nerves that are still living, they'll branch and reconnect to your muscles, so you can have partial use of them again. But over time, all of our nerves die of old age. It's a natural phenomena. But when yours and my muscle nerves die, it might affect 5 or 10 muscle fibers. But when it affects a polio patient, it might affect 200 or 300 muscle fibers. So they have a rapid weakness and pain, and they don't understand why. They go to their doctor and they say, gee, I'm really weak. I don't know what's going on. Most doctors who haven't been exposed to this, because why would you learn about it in medical school? Because polio has been eradicated. So they tell you, go exercise more. Wrong move. You can't exercise muscles that have lost their innervation. And therefore they're frustrated and they don't know what to turn. That's where we as polio advocates can step in. We know that in the next 10 years, there's going to be about 10,000 cases of post-polio syndrome in the United States alone. And it's up to us as polio advocates to be out there when a person does, when they're over 60 years old, they're getting this unexplained weakness, ask them, have they had polio? And if so, we have the resources available to help them get them to support groups and to medical professionals that know how to handle it. We're going to talk about that more at this expo, as well as give you experiences of how to help other people with disabilities. Okay, I know that your club has been really great in the whole area of DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. How do we make our clubs more accessible? And this is what we're going to learn about here. Is the first part of learning accessibility is understanding the disabilities that are out there. So you're going to learn about those. That's one of the reasons why we're doing it at a medical school, so that we can not only teach our own members, but also to medical students too. So it'll be a fun activity. Okay, in November, you're going to have a chance to advertise one of your international events that are sponsored by your district designated funds at a project showcase. I mean, we talk about it to our own clubs, but sometimes we need more money, and we could certainly use more sponsorships. And there is money out there because there's a lot of clubs that haven't used their district designated funds. So why not support your program? So you'll have a chance to have a table for your own projects, but also you can look at other projects as maybe there's a new idea that another club has done that you'd like to learn about. So it is there for you. So that's coming up in November. Okay, then we have an Empowering Girls mini grant, which is something that now Christopher has in his email box. You can do this program to help to empower girls who need assistance, whether it's in health area or looking for careers or self-esteem. So these are areas that he'll follow up with that on with you. In April, we got our district conference coming up where you get to celebrate what happened this year, as well as learn about new things to prepare for the 23-24 year. It'll be a truly magical experience. Then finally in May, we'll be having our Rotary Day of Environmental Services. Thank you, John, for your working on this project, because it's important for us to continue to learn to clean up the environment as well as reduce our carbon footprint. So this year's going to be really exciting. I love the projects that we learned about at your board meeting today. You have our commitment to support you as you complete your mission. So, my fellow Rotary change agents, consider yourselves to be 005150s because you have a license to serve. Thank you.
Thank you. Gary, in honor of you visiting and speaking for our club today, we'll be inoculating 100 children on your behalf. So thank you for joining us. Let's give Gary one more round of applause. It's Tuesday, it's Rotary, and have a wonderful day and change the world.
Goodbye, all.